Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Binary Life. And if you're new to the channel, this channel teaches new developers how to code by solving algorithms so that you can see how the thinking process goes through and how the solution comes to life. Today, we'll be solving a 7Q kata on code words called the incrementer. Now, let's get to read and understand the problem. Given an input of array of digits, an array of digits, something like this. Return the array with each digit incremented by its position in the array. The first digit will be incremented by 1, the second by 2. Alright, I see. Your result can only contain single digit numbers. So if adding a digit with its position gives you a multiple digit number, only the last digit of the number will be returned. Return an array if your array is empty. Return an empty array if the empty array is empty. So we can just tackle this one immediately. Like if the array given the numbers, if there's nothing inside, we just return an empty array. That solves the first part rapidly. Now arrays will only contain numbers, so don't worry to check. So no need to check the content. The content. All right. So this is an example here. This is what we get, and how do we solve it? This one is at position 1, which means you started at 1. I think it said something about it here. Start counting your positions from 1, not 0, like usual. So this is at index 1, so we add 1 to it. That's 2. This is at index 2, so we add 2 to it. It gives 2 plus 2, 4, and so on and so forth. Let's try this one. This one is at index 1, so it's gonna be 4 plus 1, 5. This one is at index 2, so it's gonna be 6 plus 2, 8. This one is at index 3, so it's gonna be 9 plus 3. 9 plus 3 is 12, so it says we should keep the last digit. All right. So what are we going to do? The most important thing is that we have to get the index of the array. And the index will be something like the length. Like here, this is a 3-digit array. So the length is going to be 3. So we are going to loop from... I'm going to create a for loop because we know that there are 3 elements here. So we're going to loop through this array in a 3 cycle. That's we'll be moving from one number to the other and adding the index as we go ahead. So I is gonna start at 1 this time. And where are we exactly ending? We're ending at the length. That's why we equate the length to here, because it's gonna be 1, 2, 3. That 3 elements. And then it's gonna be nums.length, and we are going to go incrementally. So what are we going to do? We are going to take basically I think I'm going to create an answer array that's gonna have the final answer there. Let me put it to an empty array like that. So what do I do when I arrive as I'm looping through the array here? I am going to take the element at that array. That is the element at that particular place is nums of I, and I am going to add I to it, the index. And when I'm done that, I'm going to push it into our answer. Answer.push. I'm going to push all of that into our answer. Now, before pushing, it will be the right place to check if, like for this case, 9 plus 3 was 12. We have to get but the last digit. Before pushing, it's probably better to check the last digit. So I'm going to break down these things into smaller steps. This is going to be the sum here. Constant, this is going to be the sum. let's take the sum and put here. Now I'm going to check if it's a 2-digit number, which means maybe probably have to convert it to string so that I can count the number of characters that are inside. Now, how do we convert to string a number in JavaScript? I think it's to string. Let's just check. Convert number to string. JavaScript. I can just wrap it inside quotes. That's gonna go to. I think there should be a toString function. That's it. toString function. All right. And we can even test it. All right, it's toString basically. That's it. So if I take the number and convert to string like this, and then I check if the number of characters inside is more than 1. So if the number of characters here, to check the number of characters, we just need to check the length of the string. If the length is precisely equal to 1, then we can just let's first check the case where it's equal to 1. If it's equal to 1, that's when we can just push it inside answer here. We are going to push the sum inside here. In the scenario where it's not equal to 1, which means it's more than 1, we have to collect the last number. The last number. Now, how do we get the last number? Let's check it out. All right. How do we get the last number? All right, so I'm going to bring the terminal here so that we can try some things. So let me clear my terminal. I think it's something like this. Oh, clear. All right, so I'm going to open Node.js. And let's imagine that we have a string like this equal to something like that. How do we get the last digit, which is the 5? It's going to be something like this dot length minus 1. That's the last index. This is the index of the last digit. 5 is at index 2. So if we return the string at that particular index, something like this, it returns the last number. This is the formula to get the last number. We take the string and we get the total length, and then we move backward by 1. That will be the index of the last digit. And so to have it in the number format, we can just add a plus here and we get the 5. That's it. So I'm going to copy this formula from the Node.js console and we bring it back to CodeWords. So here, in the case where the length of the number is more than 1, what do? We can push just the last digit to our array, which is something like this. The number string at this level. And that will be it. At the end of the day, we can return the answer. So let's do it in full screen so that you can see again. So here we deal with a very scenario where an empty array was given. We just return an empty array. That's all. End of story. Now the program proceeds if the array given nums is not empty. So what do? We just create an answer where we're going to put the answer inside. So we loop through the initial array that was given from 1 till the length, and as we're moving ahead, we take the number and sum it with the index. That's it, sum here. And then I can just take this and put it under here so that it makes more sense. Oh, is that so? Nope, I think that's better like that. Yep. So we sum the number and the index, and then we convert that number to a string, and then we check if that number was just 1 digit. If it was 1 digit, we just bring the sum inside our answer array here. If it wasn't 1 digit, we put in the last digit, just the last one, and at the end we return answer. So let's come back to submitting and see how that goes. Okay, so let's just commit here. It didn't work. Why so? I can see that there's the last digit isn't working here. Expected 3, 5, and none to be equal. Now let's read again the exercise to be sure that we understood everything. Your result can only contain single digit numbers. So if added, a single digit position gives you a multiple digit number, only the last digit goes. Okay. So where are we particularly getting it wrong? Time for debugging. Now, for us to debug, it passed for it passed for the empty case here. For us to debug, it will be better to console log the original array so that we can see what we are getting wrong. So this is the original array. We're supposed to get 2, 4, and 6. Why did we get 3 and 5 and not the number? Oh yeah, that's here. Names of I plus I. Remember, this is index. Okay, let's take this particular scenario. 1, 2, 3. The array says we should continue. We should start counting from index 1, but actually, in reality, it's I minus 1. Though we should consider that this is 1 here. When we actually want to access the array, we have to remember it's at index 0, so we have to move backward in order to collect the number. That's it. All right, so let's launch again, and that was the problem. So we can just attempt, and let's submit. Right. I won't try to explain all of the now this is the formula. I think this is the formula to also get the last digit in modulo operation. Can do that. All of this algorithm is practically the same philosophy behind. Mapping is the for loop for us, so it's another function to loop. And here, taking the number and adding empty string here permits it to convert to a string. It's the same philosophy. And slice -1 gets the last digit, so that's it. The same philosophy. Same here, map permits to loop, and then this is the addition taking place, and then the modulo gets the last digit. It's the same philosophy. Right, so this is another map here which permits to loop, and then when we loop, we do all the addition that is necessary, and then we loop again through the string format. That's in order that we can get the last digit. That's it. We convert into string and loop again. That's it. And then we get the last digit, and we will convert back to number. The same scenario that we did with the plus. So I'm going to stop here, and thanks for viewing, and see you on another video.